Come along with us today to Ridley Creek State Park in Media, Pennsylvania, where we'll explore some ruins. This park was once home to a small 18th century village that grew up around the site of the mill, and the history is everywhere. Just off the paved multi-use trail, there are numerous old buildings and ruins that you can easily look at and photograph. Hey everybody, so today we are at Ridley Creek State Park. We're going to do something a little bit different. So on the channel, I like to try to show a variety of different trails that everybody can kind of do. So today I'm going to show you the multi-use trail here. This trail definitely is hilly and has some ups and downs, but it has some really beautiful views of the creek. There's ruins. You're going to really enjoy it. So throughout the park, you're going to see all these old stone ruins from different houses. Some of them are in better condition than others. There's not much left of this one, but this time of year when all the leaves are off the trees is really ideal for seeing this type of stuff. And then this used to be a tenant house for village workers. It was destroyed by a fire in 1974. So because this was a former mill site, you're going to see a lot of older homes as you go through the park. Some of these are occupied by people today, but a lot of really cool older buildings along this trail and throughout the park. Now we're at the official start of the multi-use trail, and this is going to be a loop. And you kind of have a choice. Do you want to go up the hill first for the more difficult part, or do you want to hug the creek first? We're going to do the more difficult, go up the hill first. This high arch stone bridge was built in the 1800s by a cattle farmer, so his cattle would not have to cross this very busy highway, where only 1 or 2 wagons pass by each month. Got that little pit there. And then this looks like wood up here. A little bit of graffiti, but it's really quite hidden. So this is the Mullen farm. These house ruins tucked in the woods were last occupied by the Mullen family in the 1960s. Some mystery remains as to the purpose of the small outbuilding across the trail. Some think it was a storage for gunpowder and ammunition, or perhaps a small cache for food storage. So that's what I just showed you over there. This is saying these have early American charm, but 20th century hazard. So they want you to look from a distance and reminisce, but they want you to stay out. So we're going to get a little bit closer, but we're not going to go in. So you can see there's some windows still remaining in the structure, and they've got some vines growing up it. And let's go a little bit this way. And Ridley Creek just really has a ton of these old buildings. So we can kind of peek in here. As every so often there's some benches and places to take a rest if you want to. This is a really beautiful tree. It looks like it has some kind of berries on it. Another thing I want to point out is that they're going to close Ridley Creek State Park. They're going to have a regulated deer hunt on December 5th and December 12th. So this is going to be closed on those 2 dates. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're planning on coming here. Okay, so here's some more ruins right off the multi-use trail. These are the Yellow House ruins. Nicknamed for its former exterior color, the Yellow House was occupied by the Young family until its abandonment in the 1960s. Mr. Young worked in the stables, and the house did not have running water until the 1940s. Before then, children hauled water by bucket. Today, watch for black vultures that often roost here within the shelter of the old ruins. So let's get a little bit closer. We're not going to go in, but we'll weave our way through here to show you a little bit more. That looked like a much easier trail, but I didn't take it, so. So you can still see the staircase there, and then some doors and the broken floorboards. I guess there's the fireplace and the chimney. An old shutter here. This must have been a beautiful house at one time. You can see a little bit of stonework there. The Morningside house was the home of Abel Green, who worked as a bearer for the Edgemont Brickmaster. Green owned 300 acres here and built a farmhouse with the mansion in 1773. His land and buildings were appraised at $580 and are on the National Historic Register. And you can see, oh, it's pretty hard to see, but through the trees, there are some old buildings up there, and they're now private homes. But one's like a beautiful old stone farmhouse with a big silo. This is a horse trough, and this was a small and important piece of Ridley Creek State Park's history. This was a watering hole for the horses, and a natural spring in the woods behind it kept it full. And that equestrian activities like fox hunting were a favorite pastime of the Walter Jeffords family, who owned the estate that became kind of the center of the park here. A photo of them on their horses. It's filled with leaves and a little bit of water here. If you're interested in seeing the mansion area, the gardens of Ridley Creek State Park, be sure to go to my Pennsylvania State Park playlist page, and I have a video on all that kind of stuff. I believe I have a video for almost every trail in this park. We come here all the time. Constructed in 1870 as the original one-room Edgemont schoolhouse, students from 1st through 8th grade gained basic education here prior to apprentice work or optional higher education in high school and beyond. And the building is listed on the National Historic Register. And then this is a private residence, so we want to not go up there. It does look a little bit like a schoolhouse. I can kind of see that look in the building there. This is your reminder to not overlook the paved trails. So just on this basic paved trail today, we've seen so many cool little ruins, and there's so many interesting things just off the paved trail to explore. Lower Patchell Farm, built by carpenter Samuel Plankton in 1791. This farm was owned by Joseph Taylor in 1848, and then Joseph Taylor in 1870. And in the 1900s, James Patchell bought the farm and gave it to his family. Crops were grown in the field, and in later park years, it became a youth hostel, a bicycle concession, and is a private residence. So don't want to go up there, but you can see it looks like there's probably 2 buildings, and there's stone. Cornog's Bottom. This 124-acre farm owned by John Hickens was later sold to Nathaniel Evans, who added 63 acres in 1722. It was then sold to Abraham Hoops in 1785, and a stone addition was added to the log cabin in 1770. And the remaining logs were replaced in 1870, and the German-style 3-level barn dates to 1823, and the spring house was converted to a residence in 1948. So we've come to the kind of, in my opinion, the more scenic part of the paved trail. All right, so right along the trail here, we have another ruin. So this is the Phoebe Hammill home. These ruins were once home for the widow Phoebe Hammill, who built her house in 1783. It's believed that Mrs. Hammill moved here with her young daughter to begin a new life after losing her husband. She also spent time prior to 1807 living in Cornig's Bottom, just up the trail. So let's take a look at this. This is really like the best time of year when all the leaves are gone and all like the summer greenery is gone. You're really going to be able to see these old homes and the ruins so much better. This one has the brick steps still intact. And then that looks like the fireplace there. Looks like a pretty tiny house. All right guys, thanks for coming with us today to Ridley Creek. If you're in this area, I definitely recommend this state park. It's beautiful, especially if you love looking at ruins and old buildings. There's really a lot to see here and a lot to be seen right from the multi-use trail. Have a great day, guys.